Hello everyone, I welcome you all to my channel Biological Scoop. Today's topic is about the carbon dioxide assimilation. I make the video of eukaryotic and prokaryotic cell, but because of the request of one of my student, I make a video on CO2 assimilation. I want to say that if you didn't subscribe my channel yet, then please subscribe and press the bell icon, so whenever I upload a video you will be notified. Okay, so let's start today's video. So today's topic is about carbon dioxide assimilation, but before starting about the carbon dioxide assimilation, we have to know what is photosynthesis. So first of all, photosynthesis is a process by which the plant use their resources to produce glucose is called the process of photosynthesis. So what are the resources? First of all, the resources are carbon dioxide, water and the energy. So what is energy? Energy is occur in the form of sunlight. So when both the three contents, that is the carbon dioxide, water and energy, are accepted by the leaf of the plant, then glucose molecules are formed. So glucose is a 6 carbon compound. The molecular formula of glucose is C6H12O6. So in this process, oxygen gas is evolved as a byproduct. So the CO2, the water and the energy, they both are combined to form the carbon dioxide and the glucose molecule. But if we go thoroughly about this process, then the sunlight are occur as a wavelengths and reach into the earth's surface by photons. So photons are the small particles that are the simple particles or smaller unit of light. So actually our visible spectrum ranges from 400 to 740 nanometer. So nanometer is the unit of wavelength. In this way, the sunlight comes to the fall upon the earth's surface in the form of vibgyor, as we all know, the rainbow color. The leaf contains pigments that facilitate the capture of wavelengths of light in the visible light range. So the pigments are very important for the plant surface, as we see in the video, that is the yellow and green lights are reflected from the plant, and this is because the plants look green, but the red and the blue lights are absorbed by the plant and they are utilized in the process of photosynthesis. The organisms which do photosynthesis is called as autotrophs, or as we all know, the plants are the autotrophs, or the organism which produces their own food by the process of photosynthesis as called autotrophs. So most probably they use this mechanism for producing the glucose. So as we all know, generally the photosynthesis occur inside the cell, and the photosynthetic apparatus is the chloroplast. So chloroplast is the kitchen house of the cell. So chloroplast contains so many numbers of pigments and the various things like thylakoids, grana, stroma, where the photosynthesis is occur. So chemical reaction of photosynthesis occur within the plant cell in specialized structure known as the chloroplast is a double membrane bounded structure, and it is a grain shaped structure. It consists of two sets of reaction. Both the reactions of photosynthesis occur inside the chloroplast, that is the light dependent reaction, or we can call as the light reaction, and the Calvin cycle. Within the chloroplast, a small disc-like structures are called, as we see in the video, that are called as the thylakoids. We can simply define that a stack of coin-like structure are called as the thylakoid, which are surrounded by a fluid that is called the stroma. So here you see the thylakoids, that is I told that the stack of coin-like structure. So here the light reaction takes place, but in the stroma the Calvin cycle and the actual reactions of synthesizing glucose occur in the stroma. In most photosynthetic organisms, thylakoids contains pair of photosystems called as photosystem 1 and photosystem 2, or we can also say pigment system 1 and pigment system 2. So in this video you are seeing that the photosystems are receives the photons. Photons means, I already say earlier, that the small particles or the smaller particles of light, or small unit of light. These two green structures are both the photosystem 1 and the photosystem 2 in the membranes of the thylakoid. Photosystem II that work in the production of the energy that will be later used in the stroma to manufacture sugars. Generally, the photosystems of thylakoid consist of so many numbers of pigments molecules such as chlorophyll, carotenes, xanthophylls in various numbers which receive the photons. These pigments absorb the light molecule, and by this the electrons that are present in the photosystems are become in an excited state, and photosystem will expel the electrons who gather the energy in the pigment molecules. The chlorophyll molecule, which will then pass to the electron to a series of proteins thylakoid membrane. Photons of light strike photosystem 1 and 2 simultaneously. We will examine. So here you all see that both the photosystem 1 and photosystem 2 are activated, and simply the light reaction consists of two phases, that is the cyclic photophosphorylations and non-cyclic photophosphorylation. So in the non-cyclic photophosphorylation, both the photosystem 1 and photosystem 2 are involved. As the energy strike the photosystem 2 fast, the excited electron passed to the photosystem 1 from the photosystem 2. As the photon striking photosystem 2, the energized electron are passed from the reaction center of photosystem 2 and to an electron transport chain. The electron lost by photosystem 2 are replaced by a process called photolysis. So what is photolysis? Photolysis is a process of breaking of water molecule. That is, as we know that water molecule consists of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen. The oxygen is split out from the water molecule, and this process is called the photolysis. So as you see in this video, the red bubbles like structures are the oxygen gases, and the sky structures are the hydrogen atoms. As we know, the oxygen gas is a byproduct of photosynthesis, and it is an important input to cellular respiration pathway also. So as electron pass through the electron transport chain, the energy from the electron is used to pump ions from the stroma to the thylakoid, creating a concentration gradient, and this gradient powers a protein called ATP synthase. So which phosphorylates the ADP to form ATP. So here in this video you have seen that the ADP comes and it is converted to ATP, that is the adenosine diphosphate is converted to adenosine triphosphate, and it is a process of energy formation process. So here ADP is converted to ATP. The low energy electrons leaving photosystem 2s are shuttled to photosystem 1. Within photosystem 1, low energy electrons are re-energized and are passed through an electron transport chain, where they are used to reduce the electron carrier, that is the NADP plus, and it is converted to NADPH. So here you see the video that how the NADP, it is the carrier of electron. Generally NADP is called as the carrier of electron, and in this process the enzyme NADP reductase is used. So here the NADP comes and carries the electron and converted to NADPH. So when the chloroplast is receiving a steady supply of photons, NADPH and ATP molecules are rapidly, then they are being available in the metabolic pathways, and they are move inside the stroma. Therefore, the ATPs and NADPH that are formed in the light reaction are now gives a fuel to the Calvin cycle. So let's come to the Calvin cycle. Actually, the Calvin cycle was proposed by Melvin Calvin, and it consists of a series of reactions that reduces the carbon dioxide. Why it reduces the carbon dioxide? Because by the reduction of carbon dioxide, the carbohydrate are formed. That is the when the carbon dioxide is reduced, the carbohydrate glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, that is the first stable product of the Calvin cycle, which consists of 3 steps. So the first step is the carbon fixation, the second is the reduction, and the third one is the regeneration of RUBP, that is the ribulose biphosphate. So in the first process, that is the carbon fixation, ribulose 1,5-biphosphate combines with the carbon dioxide to form 2 molecules of 3-phosphoglycerate, that is also called as PGA. Then the process of reduction occurs, where the 3-PGA is converted to 1,3-biphosphoglycerate, and here also the ATP is again reduced into ADP. So as it is the process of reduction, the NADPH is also reduced to NAD. So in the next step, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is formed. 2 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is. So for every 3 turns of the cycle, 5 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate are used to reform 3 molecules of ribulose 1,5 biphosphate. The remaining glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is then used to make glucose, fatty acids or glycerol. So it takes 2 molecules of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate to make 1 molecule glucose phosphate. Thus, the Calvin cycle has to run 6 times to produce 1 molecule of glucose. Now, these molecules can remove their phosphate and add fructose, and by this they form sucrose, the molecules plant use to transport carbohydrates. So, glucose phosphate is also the producing molecule for the synthesis of starch and cellulose. Plants produce as sugar to use as storage molecule and structural components for their own benefit by utilizing energy of the sun along with inputs of water and carbon dioxide. So plants act as glucose factory because it produces glucose as the first product of photosynthesis. So here as we see that carbon dioxide, water and energy combined together, they enter into the plant cell, that is a chloroplast, and they form the glucose molecule. So in this process oxygen is also a byproduct. Hence the plant is very much important for our life because it produces oxygen and we utilize it in the form of in the process of respiration. Okay, so in this process both the light reactions and the Calvin cycles are happen inside the plant cell. So I hope you understand the topic. If you have any doubt then please comment below, and if you want to know any chapter in detail, so please comment below so that I make a video upon it.